So it's 10 o'clock, and usually people just come in. I've had a couple of people say they won't be able to make it. One is in Mexico, and I think Susan has a meeting, but that's okay. Also, it gives us a chance to work with you more if there's a small group, so we're great. This is our coffee session. It's just for you. I do have a new assignment to try and help you move into the next phase of your content. But first of all, let's start with what you're doing for content and where I can support you. So Jamie, you were here first. Would you like to type in a comment and let me know how things are going? Should we wait for you or should we? Okay. Okay, perfect. I can sort of see by your smile, but not 100%. Okay, so Jamie's typing in a comment to let us know how she's doing with her content. And then after that, Nissan, I'd love to talk to you about how you're getting started with things and where we can support you more. Trying to share a link with everyone. It's not letting me. Okay, so Jamie, sorry, you probably were waving at me. I was just sharing with the Facebook group in case anyone needed the link. Okay, so Jamie says things are going really well. Really good. I'm an editor, Jamie. Sorry about that. I gave lots of work on the go. Spend some time with Paige on WordPress. Awesome. So really looking forward to pushing out more content. That's fabulous. You are all so inspiring. I agree. It's a great group. I am working on a blog about Asperger's, ASD, from my 12-year-old son's point of view. Oh, that's exciting. That's really cool. So awesome. So it just reminds me of one thing I wanted to mention to the group, and that's around how to tell a good story. To have recurring characters is an important thing in your social media and in your blog. If you really want people to connect with you and you tell your son's story, to have him show up a little bit more often so that people can kind of follow along will really increase the engagement there. So, and again, sharing it not only on the blog, but sort of figuring out ways to tell that story on all your platforms connected to the blog. That's so interesting. I'm really looking forward to seeing that. That's great. And then maybe if you want, when we're talking to the next person, if you want to let me know, I know you put a blog up about one of your machines and sort of how that's going for you as well, and if you need more support on that. Are people with Asperger's, are they somebody that you, like people that you might have in your clinic, and this might be useful to them as an example? That's really cool. I love it. Okay. Well, if you want any help with that, feel free to post it, because it connects with me a lot, because I did that work with that ADHD kid, and we had a lot of feedback. So people loved all of, even the funny things that he did. Like he put a video up of him playing with, I don't know, like not a lighter, but like an electricity ball and something else. And he was just doing these random, really cool things, and kids really connected with those things that he was doing. So you can go way off on a tangent, I think, too, with that stuff and have fun with it. Okay, I will send it to you. Yes, their minds are amazing. They totally are. Awesome. Okay, so if you have any more comments, keep adding them there, Jamie, and we'll move on and we'll come back and check, okay? And Nitzan, hi, Susan, how are you? We're just going around. Nitzan, how are you doing with getting things rolling, and how can I help you?
Wonderful. So, first of all, is this a question and answer? I want to understand big picture. What are we here for?
Okay, so if you go back in the Facebook group for this class, the Power Content class.
Power Content, okay.
And I did send you an email too around this.
Yeah.
Okay. So really going back to the initial videos and checking them out would be a good start.
Good, thank you. Yeah.
The first thing that we did was really come up with a list of topics that we were going to write about, but we also talked about doing some market research and understanding who we're writing for and what kinds of other things we can talk about that would connect with people emotionally. Because when we're selling over social media or we're on social media, it's not just about pushing content out, it's really about figuring out what's going to resonate with the people reading your stuff or watching your stuff.
Purpose.
Yeah. So we really tried to dig into that. I shared some examples which were sort of best practice examples of companies that are leading the way with digital marketing and blogging. So then in this course, we've been working on writing blog posts or social media content and figuring out how to systematize it. So this week's new assignment will really be about that. We make one piece of important content and we figure out how to distribute it across social media, which drives people back to our website, or we can use it in Facebook ads or whatever we want to connect with people, wherever we want to do that. So for you, I'd love to talk to you, it doesn't have to be today though, about what content, what topics, what ideas you have that you could put out there, even if it's Facebook Live videos, and how you could see them working on all of your different platforms, social media platforms, as obviously as you grow them.
Of course we'll talk today. So my target is business owners who are approaching their retirement, and perhaps the best, and then there are associated people who would refer those kinds of clients, like business brokers, bankers, CPAs. As far as platforms, my focus would be on LinkedIn, with Facebook being the assumed platform of all humanity at the moment. So,
good call.
Well, that's what I heard. Even all over the world, people use Facebook instead of sign language. So, so my first question would be: I have a Facebook page called Nitzan Gable that I did nothing with, and then my business is called Exit Strong. So I created a Facebook page in my great innocence and ignorance, another one called Nitzan Gable Exit Strong. Now, in talking with Jonathan, you know him, he said that's extraneous because if I have Exit Strong, say, or then there's a page that's public, or there's a page that's for business, there's a page for the open kimono of Nitzan. So tell me what to do. Should I cancel one?
Yes, I think you should talk to Jonathan about the exact strategy, because he's the
man. All right. So then let's go on to the next thing. Let's assume that I've consolidated or eliminated. I've got one. Yeah. So let's call it the business page and the personal page. So the fan page is really the business page, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So help me out what would you recommend I put content on one as opposed to the other, as opposed to LinkedIn? I, of course, for the reasons of efficiency, I'd love to have it all the same, and I just I don't have it all the same. So the way you're nodding your head, is that a yes, or you'll tell me?
Okay, I'm listening,
Yeah,
nodding.
good. So as far as content, I have one thing would be, you pointed out right now about a recurring character, which is that's so important and so true. So if I would have, we'll call him Gene or her Gene. Gene can be either. So let's say I talk about Gene, and I keep talking about what happens at a particular point, different stories that happen to people who are my ideal client, and it just keeps a different story each time. So that's an easy thing for content because I've got plenty of stories, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And I could insert occasionally, or I don't know how to space it out, but I could have things that are more theoretical about. But from what I understand, it's always a story. So it's a story about a concept that I have, whether it's with Gene or without Gene, right?
Absolutely. And it doesn't have to be Gene every time, because a recurring character is great, but real people are more important. The recurring character is you. If you have a dog, if you have a partner, all those other things, people that are in your life, that's what people want to see. They want to see that window into your life.
I see. All right. So that's something I thought of doing the opposite. My inclination was, I don't want to show my personal life. What are they interested in? But I've been told that I'm wrong, that actually they do want to see my personal life. I'm used to being wrong. So, I mean, I'm happy to show things about my personal life, and it's I've got a great personal life, so I don't have anything to hide.
Yeah. No, that's what people really want to see, because social media is very much like a real life networking event. And the thing that people are drawn to is not just your business card or your suit. It's that conversation they have with you. And the only way to have that conversation on social media is to put something out there that people then engage with, that's personal. So a birthday party, a wine tasting, all of those things, along with your more substantial pieces that are anchored in what you want to be saying for business.
Well, I don't see any problem with content there.
No, I don't either. So the next thing then is to get it going. So I am working with students. They put a piece of content up on Facebook as quickly as possible. I try to get back to them with some ideas around that piece. So I can help you edit it. I'm a professional writer by trade. I can help you come up with angles that you can share it on social media. And I can help you with the technical bits if you're trying to post it yourself somewhere.
Okay, so I mean, can we begin now, or should I? Can we begin now?
Sure, of course. You've
got everybody
learn from this.
Yeah, I mean, what am I going to do? I'm going to put it off. What for?
Absolutely.
Maybe tomorrow. Who knows? So, I have no problem speaking into a camera or into a webcam. Is there any reason for me to hesitate using a webcam as opposed to just a camera? Do I have to set up something fancy, or can I just talk like this?
You can absolutely talk like this. In order to make it a live video, there are some little hoops to jump through. You need to integrate programming. The simplest way to do a live video is to use your phone. Use it horizontally, use it on a tripod, talk into the camera, and that's a really effective way to grow your Facebook and Instagram.
Okay, so now, Instagram. I see all the symbols after everybody's name: Twitter, Instagram, picture, whatever. So, my God, I don't want to make that the labor as opposed to my real life. So, how do I make that efficient?
Absolutely. So the way I approach it is, I would like you to come up with some important stories that you want to tell, or some big themes that you want to talk about. Okay. Because I'm a writer, I would flesh those out in writing, but you're invited to do videos about them or podcasts about them, whatever you want to do, but really come up with your meaningful pieces first. And once you have that, then we can talk about simple ways to package them. So let's say you did a really in-depth video. We can do teaser videos on Instagram and Facebook. We can put the whole video on YouTube. We could put it all on Facebook. We can post that video to your blog and put a written copy along with it. So what we want to do really is make it more efficient. We want to create great pieces in the beginning and learn how to distribute those on all those distribution networks, because really that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's, Jonathan, there's, like I wanted to talk about today, when you share it on social media, it's not just sharing and saying, hey, I wrote a blog post. So what I wanted to talk about today was how can you share that in a way that entertains people, right? Empowers them. So you might write a blog post about how to plan for retirement. And one of the ways you're going to share that is to put up a great quote about making those retirement years really meaningful. And so it's tied in, but it's not just shipping it. It's not just straight sharing. It's kind of using that theme to tie all your social media together. So first of all, it's coming up with those big themes. So in the first session, I asked people to just make a spreadsheet that they would keep going week after week after week and for the rest of your business, and keep adding your ideas for content to that. So at least you have one document where everything's held together.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll do that. No problem.
Great.
So if I have, so I have another question. I mean, I have a business coach. She has a Facebook page, and because she's very interesting to me to an extent, right? I began looking every time she posted something in her Facebook, and it would notify me in my email. So, okay, I'd go to her. After a while, I thought, why are you doing this? I mean, are you really expecting everybody to just follow you? And do you have to? I once commented, do you really believe this? Like she had some quote, she had an article by someone, you really stand by this? So, I mean, I would say what I'm presenting is the attitude, do I just put out pearls on the string, or do anything I pick up, I put there so that there's a constant flow? And do I expect people are going to follow me the same way I used to, when I was in high school, if there was a Time magazine, I'd read it from cover to cover, just on principle. So am I expecting people to actually follow me? I suppose as I hear myself say this, so obviously people aren't going to become such an accolade that they stop everything. I posted something, they've got to read every single post, right? They're not going to do that. So I don't have to expect them to, and I throw the stuff out, and the frequency they read is the frequency they read.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for example, on Facebook, people go either in the morning or the afternoon or the evening. They're not there all day. So if you're sharing in the morning and they're showing up in the evening, they're not even going to see what you shared, for example. So you want to go often enough that they catch you once in a while. But everything that you post really needs to be on brand. So if you come up with your values for your brand and who your public persona really is, then everything you post, I think a business coach posting something that she doesn't believe in or that doesn't support her big thesis doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I'm not challenging that she didn't believe in it, but right. It seemed to me this is me projecting. It's not necessarily valid about her. I was feeling that you keep posting, and I'm wondering, is this like the most important thing you have to say, or you're looking for something that's close enough because you want to keep posting?
Right. No, I think you need to find things that resonate with you. But if you don't really believe in it, you can post it as a discussion. You can say, hey guys, what do you think about this?
Okay. That's that really explains a lot.
Okay. I think it's really important. Personally, I think it's really important to be in integrity with everything that you post. a lot of people find they hire an assistant to find content and post it. I don't like that. And I think as the internet becomes more and more saturated, those people are not going to be the ones that stand out.
Yes.
But there's a lot of different ways to do it.
That's you're explaining things that you're answering some questions that I had until now.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. Yeah. Good. So this week I would challenge you maybe to come up with some overarching stories or themes, just ideas that you want to develop, and develop one.
Yeah.
Post it in this Facebook group for core content and let me give you some feedback.
Beautiful. Okay.
Yeah, and other people jump in as well quite often, and they also give feedback. So if you start there, then we can work on developing it from there.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. Awesome. So we'll look forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then if you have questions in an ongoing way, feel free to email me, to message me on Facebook, or to put them in the Facebook group. All of those will work. And then Nitsan, I'm going to move on to...
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Awesome. Okay, Susan, thanks for joining. I hope you enjoyed talking to Nitsan, because I think that was a good review of what we've kind of covered and talked about so far, Nitsan. So thank you for that. And Susan, big smile. She's pumping out content. How are we doing?
Oh, thank you so much again for your feedback this week. It's interesting. Like when I said, okay, so I have this plan now, I'm going to do this series of posts in time management, but I've up until now, and I've been blogging for about a year and a half now, I've come to my computer, usually on a Sunday morning, and I write whatever comes to my head, and then I throw it up on my blog a couple days later, and I've spent very little time editing it. I've just been whatever is on my mind, and it's often based on the book I'm reading or something that's happened in my life that I get all philosophical about. So this is the first time I've tried posting a series of something, or, oh, I've decided I'm writing on this, so I need to write on it today, but yet then I'm not inspired. So in your message to me, and you said that, always go for what you're excited to write about. How do I balance that? If I've said, oh, okay, I'm going to write a series on time management. Like, I know that no one's really going to be going, where's that article on point 4 from 6 weeks ago? Oh, how would you manage that?
Well, no one says that you have to write your series in 3 consecutive weeks, unless you
That's fair.
Say that. And I noticed with some of the big guys like Pat Flynn that their series are, they don't necessarily show up week after week, but once they're all out there, then they tie them up together and they say, hey, here's a whole series on X or Y, right? So you could do it your way. Because I think the inspired content, it sounds like you wake up, you write, you get it done. I mean, you don't want to mess up that system. That's great. You've got the momentum working for you.
So typically I get it out. I have an idea in my head. I'll often, actually, I might even be going to bed. I'll be like, oh, this is a great idea. And I run to my computer and I write for 15 minutes. And then at least the idea is out. And then in a day or two, I'll take it and massage it into more something someone might read.
Totally.
But it's been a very intuitive process for me so far. And I mean, really, but I could definitely, I'm not getting a ton of traffic. Like I've been told that I have a following and people are reading. Like the people I have are pretty devoted.
That's great.
But it's still a pretty small group. And I would like to be sparking more engagement online for sure. So this idea around entertaining with your shares, like I'd love to explore that a little bit more. Like,
awesome.
What does that look like? Like, is it a video? Hey, I've got my blog post this week. Like, I'm curious what some ideas are, or some people who you follow who you would recommend we emulate or take a look at for different styles.
That's a good idea. I can share. Why don't I share some of those in the Facebook group? Because my mind will blank out if I try to do it.
Yeah, that would be cool, because content overload, right? Like we've all got so much content that we're looking at. And then to Nitsan's point, or we were talking about like Facebook, if you post and no one's there, then you have to post it another time when they are there. But, when they are there, I'm not usually there because I'm busy, making dinner. And that's when other people seem to be reading Facebook. And you have to post live for people to read it. So it's this big catch-22.
Yeah, it's really tricky. And there is some debate about whether you can have to post live or not, but it does seem to get more traction. Most people would think that. Like Evernote is one example. So I clicked on their Instagram story and it just said, a lot of people have been asking us how to, it was really boring, like how to annotate a picture or something really dry, but they put it in their story. And what's neat about it is that people are asking and everyone wants to know, right? So it's in their story and you're like, oh yeah, I wondered about that. And they're just sort of like these moments. It's a simple question. And then they used the story to make it kind of fun. They like highlighted and it said scroll up, and it linked right to their blog, not their blog post, their frequently asked question page, which had a very boring question with a very boring answer. But what made it interesting was that, yes, their target audience wants to know this, right? So finding neat ways of using Instagram or Facebook or whatever to compel people to look, right? Just, it's the right question at the right time. But even with time management, I would challenge you to do a big brainstorm and come up with several pieces of social media that you could share around it. A quote, right? A quote on a graphic could be, you could make an entertaining cartoon. I'm thinking quite big there, but if you really wanted to drive traffic, you could put some time into developing this series a little bit more instead of it just being a flash in the pan. So you could do the whole rollout, right? So going onto Canva and seeing what you could find for an infographic or a funny thing, and then doing a silly thing where, you know, comparing business and busyness, or, you know, a picture of someone who's really busy trying to juggle everything. And just developing it really slowly into several different social media pieces. So what could be entertaining? What could be engaging? So a question, a poll. Engaging is really like getting that conversation going. What could be exciting? So doing a freebie around it. So a free download that maybe combines your best tips from all 3 posts, right? So something to get people to take action. So if you, I would just say this week, maybe sit with that series and see how many angles you can come up with to get it out there and get traffic to it.
Those are great points. I also have a question around Facebook stories. I have not used Facebook or Instagram stories. I don't even really know what they are.
Okay. They're awesome. The thing about Instagram stories is that anywhere on Instagram that your face comes up, if you have a story running, you get the red circle around your face, which means people can click on your face and see your story. I recently presented on this to a whole group of people. There were about 30 people. And I said, okay, who has Instagram? And everyone said, yeah, I'm using Instagram. Who's using it for their business? Yep. Who's using Instagram stories? 4 people raised their hands. So every time on Instagram, only a few people really stick out because they're using stories, and that's the advantage. Same with Facebook. They're not as popular, but I'm noticing on my mobile device that the stories, the people with stories, are highlighted at the top every single time. So I think it's a super strong strategy.
And is it just a series of posts stuck together?
It can be lots of things. It can be just a graphic that you create on Instagram. Oh, I wish I could show you my phone. So when you're on Instagram, if you click on the circle that's around your face, it has a little plus. If you click in there, it opens up something that looks like it's going to take a picture. From there, you can do lots of things. You can upload a picture from your camera roll. You can add a sticker. And when you click on the little sticker thing, it gives you lots of options. You can geotag it. And when you add your location to one of those things, then it also puts it in a different stream so that everybody who's around you will see it. It's crazy powerful.
Okay, so I just did that, and I've got my little face and whatever. That's not going to go live, is it? Like, I've been afraid to play because, you know.
It just, I know. I had my son working on it like a couple months ago. We were just playing this. I was like, I get it. I get it for other companies, but I don't want to do it for me. And he was like, well, it doesn't go live, Mom. So, and it's brilliant. So it doesn't go live. Even if you push live video, it doesn't go live until you push start. So you can really play with them.
Okay.
Some of the stickers to add are not really necessarily the fun ones, but the location, the time. You can add a poll. So if you're doing something about time management, maybe you could create a story with a poll on it for one of your ideas.
Great idea. And then okay, so this is also still kind of generic social media questions. I know that Snapchat, I don't have Snapchat, but I know that Snapchat has frames. So for example, my 16-year-old, when we travel, like she might be somewhere, let's just say she's somewhere, and then boom, like this beautiful frame shows up around her face. Does that happen in Facebook and Instagram too?
Not as geolocation related that I know of, but that's a good question for Jonathan because he does Snapchat and I don't yet. So yeah, I know. I said to my son yesterday, I was like, I'm gonna get you on Snapchat. I'm gonna go through your Snapchat or something. And he said, okay, Mom, if you can even figure out how to turn on and use Snapchat, you get points.
Well, I mean, and this is a great idea for someone with a different style of business than I do. Like, I had taken my daughter out for lunch at this lovely place called like Butterflies and Buttercups or something like that. It's a sweet tea shop. And she took a Snapchat because she's constantly on it. And then bing, this beautiful logoed frame showed up that framed her Snapchat from there and was completely branded for that restaurant.
He knows. I know, because you can make a frame for Facebook too. And there's very few companies that are doing those things, but you're right. It's an opportunity. Absolutely. Should do a one. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and I challenge you, even videos. So now that you've got these 3 points about time management, I'm sure that gives you a lot of content to create 1 video or 3 videos, which you can then again, use. You can put them back on your blog. You can use them everywhere. So really, once you have this great content, let's figure out how to use it better.
So much work.
I know. But I think maybe on Sunday morning, instead of writing a blog post, maybe cut the frequency down and make, a plan for other things.
Great idea.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. All right, you guys, it's 10:30. Does anybody else want to talk about anything else before I show you what the assignment is this week? Okay. So as Nissan and as all of us and Susan, as we were talking about, we really need to get these blog posts and these major topics out onto social media in order to get people to check us out on our websites. So I'm just going to share a quick slide. This was the idea this week, is to challenge yourself to turn your blog post into at least 5 pieces this week. So Jamie, if you come up with that blog post about your child with Asperger's, if you could come up with the ideas like, let's do a video of him, doing something fun. Let's do a Instagram story that drives people to this blog post, right? Let's think about 5 different ways to present our pieces on social media. And just a little list here. So here are some ideas. You could even do quotes around the topic. And again, like Nissan said, they're in integrity with your core beliefs and your business, what you really want to put out in the world, right? So come up with at least 5 ways to share your idea over social media. And then let's look at them next week and see what's going on. Okay, stop share. So next week we have a guest speaker. He's wonderful. His name is Amani Chanel. He's a producer with Fox 5 Atlanta, a TV station. He's spent quite a bit of time as a TV journalist, and he's teaching people how to have confidence on camera. Also, he's got great ideas around lighting and doing low-budget video work. So if you come, join us. It's going to be at a different time. It's 4 p.m. Pacific instead of 10 a.m. Pacific. But I think he's great, and I think you'll really enjoy what he has to say. Also, if you have any questions about video, we could completely customize our session based on what your questions are. So if you want to send me those or put them in the Facebook group this week, that would be ideal. The sooner the better, so he has some time to prepare. All right, you guys. Thanks for coming. I'll let you go early. Thanks a lot. Nissan, go ahead.
You said 4 p.m. Pacific. That's next Wednesday, a week from today?
A week from today at 4 p.m.
And you put, after you, this thing called the 5 E's, right?
Yes.
Educate, I understand. Entertain, I understand. It's not quite clear to me the difference between engage, empower, and excite, if you want to explain that.
Okay, absolutely. So this is Jonathan's way of tying up the social media training in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
Educate, you understand. Entertain, you understand. Engage is to incite a discussion with people. So people engage when there's 2 pictures. Which do you like better, A or B? That creates a lot of discussion. Or a poll. Usually these things presented with photos make a lot, I'll get a lot more stir. You could say, are you a night owl or an early morning person? When do you get most creative in the day? Or whatever really fits into your business. So 2 pictures of different retirement scenarios, which do you prefer? They seem light and fluffy, but they get the numbers up because people tend to comment on them instead of just liking. Mm-hmm. So that's helpful. Empower. So empower is really what we do with some of our key clients is we ask them who the authors and who the big thinkers are that they really love, that they resonate with. And we get quotes from those people and we put them on graphics. Seems really simple, but it's who you choose. So if you've read books that you find are really meaningful, if you've had quotes that really meant something in your life, to share those on graphics or in different ways, those get a lot of engagement. And excite. So again, excite is really about giving people something. So can you teach them something quickly that they could use today? Can you make it something that they can download? Can you give them a resource? What can you give people that gets them so excited that they just want to work with you more? So just a little sample of what results you can produce for them.
And after you gave that list of 5, you had a longer list. Is that somewhere? Are you expecting me to have a photograph? I'm a Snapchat. I can just see it and it's inside me.
No, I will put the slide up in the group after this session. And also you'll get the replay of today's video if you have any, anything you want to look at again.
If you could just put that up now for a second, please.
My pleasure. It's going to take me a minute to do the tech.
So these are all the different ways all the different things that I can do on my blog.
These are suggestions.
With suggestions.
For how to take your blog post and share it on social media. So because people are already on social media and they're not hanging out on your blog, you need to get in front of them on social.
Yeah.
These are ways of doing it. We want to be as entertaining and interesting as possible. So these are some ideas. Even in the real world, you can take something that you wrote about and turn it into a speech or send it as a news release to your local media outlets. There's a lot of different ways to take what you work on and extend it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, and I will put that slide up, I promise you, in the group so you can download it from there.
Thank you.
Okay, does everybody feel like they have a plan for the week? We'll talk on Sunday morning, Susan. Just get up a little earlier every day, huh?
Have you noticed that my posts come in to you on Sundays?
No, that's funny. That's perfect though. It's great. I love that you have like a regular thing going. That's awesome.
Thanks.
All right, you guys, I'm going to let you go 20 minutes early. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next week at 4 p.m.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Thank you. Take care.